Objectively, IQ. I think that's all I really need to say from
The biggest geniuses in America always seem to have the richest parents. They tell us they built it all from nothing, but somehow their nothing comes with a summer home, a trust fund, or in this case, an emerald mine. So when I saw a video come up of people debating about the merits of Elon Musk, I was keen to see what the arguments would be.
Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Is Musk a genius, or is his success just a PR illusion?
Objectively, IQ. I think that's all I really need to say.
Before we go further, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Even though Musk generally claims that he came from a meager background, it turns out that actually his father owned an emerald mine, and the reason that we know this is because we have an interview. Have a listen.
In South Africa, my father had a private plane we'd fly in incredibly dangerous weather and barely make it back. This is going to sound slightly crazy, but my father also had a share in an emerald mine in Zambia. I was 15 and really wanted to go with him, but didn't realize how dangerous it was. I couldn't find my passport, so I ended up grabbing my brother's, which turned out to be 6 months overdue. So we had this plane load of contraband and an overdue passport from another person. There were AK-47s all over the place, and I'm thinking, man, this could really go bad.
Or there's the fact that his dad also referenced it in a tweet. Now Errol's tries to suggest that there isn't much money in that. However, what we do know is that he bankrolled his son to do PayPal and gave him a check of $28,000, which in today's money would be about $55,000, which obviously is allowing him to live a bit of a life of luxury, as you can see with the Jaguar and the home and the dog. Now with that money, he actually buys his way into PayPal, but was it just a buy-in? Well, Musk's original company was called X.com, which you'll now know as Twitter today, a fintech startup, not PayPal. He did certain writing of early code, but most engineers say his work was basic and quickly outgrown. As X.com grew, the technical staff replaced Musk's code with more secure, scalable systems. When Musk.com merged with Confinity, Musk became CEO of a new company, but his leadership caused chaos. Employees, including PayPal co-founder Max Levchin, described Musk as an ideas guy whose technical input often created more problems than solutions. According to engineer interviews, Musk pushed for Windows-based infrastructure and it nearly derailed the entire business. In fact, Musk was ousted as CEO by the board while he was on vacation. He kept a large ownership stake, but most of the critical engineering and product information was driven by Confinity's team, especially Levchin and Peter Thiel. When you hear that Musk coded PayPal, it's like saying Steve Jobs built iPhone's microchips with a soldering iron. It's not quite true. He worked hard, yes, but big breakthroughs, the secure payment system and the actual PayPal brand, that's the rest of the team. And finally, we have his takeover of Twitter.
He's already been on a firing spree, meantime, letting go of top executives, including the CEO and the CFO. The Tesla boss has been critical of the platform's moderation policies and says that he wants to promote more free speech.
And what you'll notice is a pattern with all the companies he takes over. He essentially strips out as many employees as he possibly can without completely causing the company to collapse. But unfortunately, it creates a long-term problem within the company which is never fully resolved, that you fired all of your staff. And this was highlighted this week by Bono from U2, who pointed out that he's caused absolute destruction with similar policies. He just fires staff, and that's his genius move.
Just recent report, it's not proven, but the surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this cut off, this hard cut of USAID. So there's food rotting in boats, in warehouses. There is this will fuck you off. This will not, you will not be happy. No American will, but there is, I think it's 50,000 tons of food that are stored in Djibouti, South Africa, Dubai, and wait for it, Houston, Texas. And that is rotting rather than going to Gaza, rather than going to Sudan, because the people who know the codes or for the warehouse, are fired. They're gone. And so this, I don't know, what do you think? What is that? That's not America, is it?
And yet, where have we heard this before? This was to suggest, well, it was because he went into politics. Well, no one forced him to do that. And of course, he backed the wrong horse, but he's not going to be involved in that anymore. But he got interviewed on it, and you could tell it really rattled him. By backing Donald Trump, he's actually damaged his own company, not just through his endorsement of Republicans and anti-Democrats. He's also done it through the tariffs. Have a listen.
Didn't get off to a smooth start.
I noticed that all of your businesses involve a lot of components, a lot of parts. Do the tariffs and the trade wars affect any of this?
Tariffs always affect things a little bit.
Wondering what your thought is on the ban on foreign students, the proposal. I mean, you were one of those kids, right?
Yeah, I think we want to stick to, the subject of the day, which is like spaceships, as opposed to, presidential policy.
Oh, okay. I was told anything's good, but...
No.
Oh, that grin, it's so good. It's what we said earlier. What they're trying to debate is whether or not this guy's a genius. And I'm showing you he's made all the bad decisions you could possibly make. And there's a pattern to it. All he does is come up with big ideas, he doesn't know how to implement them, and so what he goes to next is to slash and burn. That's not genius, that's lazy thinking. Since Musk has taken over Twitter, it's fallen by 80% in value. Somewhere now between 8 and 10 billion in value. And the problems don't end there. We've got the issue of his rockets continually blowing up. And despite his many promises, we're still awaiting that moon base, and people are yet to be walking around on Mars, nonetheless having cities. But none of that is achievable without NASA or public taxpayer money. We also had the Boring Company, the Vegas tunnel system that you see here. It was meant to deliver this outstanding way of dealing with traffic jams by allowing cars to go underground. However, since it was released, projects have been cancelled in Chicago, LA, and Baltimore. And of course, there's also the issues he's facing over Tesla, where 50% drop in stock value is taking place, losing market share in China, and facing intense EV competition because people were pissed off when he called them Nazis because they supported the Democratic Party, even though most of his buyers were Democrats. And of course, it never really helps when you start doing Nazi salutes. That tends to have a bad effect on your stock prices and your companies. Are you starting to see a pattern? Musk loves big promises. Mars by 2024, robo-taxis next year, brain trips for everyone, and Hyperloop to New York in 29 minutes. But the reality? Missed deadlines, half-finished projects, worker lawsuits, and when things go wrong, he blames the media, the staff, or the haters. So when Musk lovers say things like this,
Objectively, IQ. I think that's all I really need to say for my argument.
the only consistent thing in Musk's companies is the hype. The outcomes? Not so much.
The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
So next time you hear the legend of a self-made billionaire, ask yourself, did they really build it all? Or did they just build the story? If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you really enjoyed the video and you'd like to help the channel, please hit the link in the description. Otherwise, once again, thanks for listening. Bye for now.